He's not man, but machine. Mike Marshall, Machine Sports of 1310. The Ticket joins me. Mike, the Mavs had just one pick in this year's NBA draft, midway through the second round, going with A.J. Hammons. Hard to imagine changing your franchise with a selection like that, but was this the best they could do?
Yeah, I think at 46, you're not going to find much else, honestly. It's going to be a backup, a older player, because if you're under 20 years old, you go in the first round if you have any kind of skill, whether it be very little or a lot. It's a young man's game in the first round, so you get a senior. You get a fourth-year senior, an A.J. Hammons out of Purdue, a center, legit 7-footer. He plays nasty. I don't mind his game at all. Does have some attitude problems, as you might have heard. Violating team rules, the very generic tag they throw on there whenever you make your code. Whenever you make your coach a little angry. But he plays nasty. He's big, might have some body issues, probably needs to bulk up. Foot speed, probably needs to upgrade on that. But he reminds me of Alexis Aginsa, who used to be here in a backup role for the Mavericks. He was developing back in the day and went to New Orleans and was a decent backup center. And that's all you can hope for out of pick number 46 overall, especially since the Rajon Rondo trade kind of took our first-round pick from us.
Oh, yeah, that thing. Another reason that didn't work out.
I brought it up. I'm sorry.
Hey, let's talk a little free agency now.
Sure.
Mavs are reportedly going after Hassan Whiteside, Mike Conley, and Chandler Parsons, Darren Williams, Dirk. They've all opted out.
Yep.
There's concern about cap space if they get all of them. So what
Sure.
do you think is the best scenario for the Mavericks?
Best case scenario for me is they have that midnight meeting with Hassan Whiteside next Friday night. Lock him in at max. That's what he's going to demand. 21 mil is the starting salary. And then you go after Mike Conley. You say, okay, we got our big man. Mike Conley, why don't you come over for a starting max of 25 mil? That's going to squeeze Chandler Parsons out. And there's no way around it. There's not enough money to go around.
Are you comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable with that, actually. The more and more we get into it, because, that's a guy that's played only 70% of the available games last 2 seasons during the regular season, hasn't played in the playoffs except for one game, the beginning of the Houston Rockets series last season. Doesn't show up in the playoffs because he's been hurt. Can't play a full season. Hasn't quite lived up to his paper. And everybody assumed the last we saw Chandler Parsons that it was an automatic, just go in there, sign the deal, sign the max contract. And the Mavericks had to be real honest with themselves. Is this a max level player? Is this a guy I want to give $23.5 million a year? There are only 5 guys in the league right now that make north of $23.5 a year. Do you want to make Chandler Parsons the 6th highest paid basketball player in the league when he's not the 6th best player in the league? Hassan Whiteside and Mike Conley makes you more balanced, gives you a pick and roll big man that can rim run, that's a terror on the offensive end, almost 4 blocks a game on the defensive end. He's not as sound as you might like out of a center, but he goes and chases the ball, and he's a difference maker on the defensive end. Mike Conley, more of a balanced ball control point guard. I think about 15 points a game, maybe 5.5 assists, what you expect, a good 3-point percentage. But that makes your team a lot better. And then the question is, how do you replace Chandler Parsons? Is it a Courtney Lee? Is it a Ken Bazemore? Plan A is Conley and Whiteside. Life isn't built on plan A's, though.
That's exactly right. And plus, you mentioned Conley's numbers. Those are definitely the ideal numbers that Rick Carlisle would want to see out of this point guard. So that's important there. But as far as the worst possible outcome for the Mavericks, what would that look like? I
think the worst possible outcome would look like you whiff on Hassan Whiteside. You get too late in the door with Joakim Noah. You're chasing after a Jan Mahinmi type, trying to pay him $10+ million a year to come here and be your starting center. And then you're chasing after someone like Jeremy Lin, or you're bringing back Darren Williams, and you're begging Chandler Parsons to come back for that max money that you've already admitted you don't want to pay him. So you're looking at a Darren, maybe Jeremy Lin, Wes Matthews, Parsons, Dirk, and someone like Jan Mahinmi at your center position. And I don't know if that makes the playoffs in the West next season.
I'm not sure it does either. And when you look at a lineup like that, would you begrudge Dirk if he decided, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this. I've got 1 to 2 years left. I want to go chase a championship.
I wouldn't begrudge him at all. And I think as a fandom, we need to tell Dirk, it's okay, man. If this doesn't work out this offseason and you're free, this is the last contract you're probably going to get, last opportunity to chase a ring, it's okay. We understand. You've given us everything and then some. So no, I would not begrudge him at all. And I'd almost applaud him for saying, you know what, I want to win some games. I want to play meaningful playoff basketball, and that's not here. That's just a fact. If it doesn't work out with Whiteside or Conley or one or the other, and maybe bring Parsons back with some mishmash in there.